The technique I use, which is lost wax casting method, involves me hand carving each piece in wax and then casting it into gold or silver, and then finishing that piece off. It comes back as a really raw form. And through that method, I guess a lot of my designs are very sculptural and unique. I had a friend that taught me a few things at the beginning that's a jeweler. I did an 8-week gem setting course, but apart from that, I've never been taught any skills. It would have been nice to go to school to get more of an understanding about how to manage a business, but in a way I'm sort of happy of learning it as I go, and I've just been really lucky to have the experience of being able to make errors while I'm still a small brand and learning from those. A lot of them happen to do with breaking really expensive stones. In theory, it doesn't fall out. The biggest one I would say was using one of my great-grandfather's inherited opals that I had found someone to cut for me into this beautiful big stone, and I was just about to finish the ring and doing one more push to get the metal around it to close, and I slipped and the whole stone just shattered and I definitely cried. My second mistake would be not knowing that I had to pay taxes for the first 2 years that I ran my business, and then having to cough up 2 years worth of taxes. Being 18 at the time and never really running it officially, I just didn't know that was even a thing.
Is there any particular piece that you're really proud of?
After my dad passed away, the first ring that I ever made that was for him, it had this little symbol on it that he used to use as his symbol because he was a metal sculptor welder as well. And I ended up making 10 of them for his closest friends and my family. And it was a way of like everyone being able to carry a little piece of him, and me being able to make them felt really special. And everyone wears them every day, which is really nice. Yeah, this is a flexi shaft. Basically, it has a foot pedal and I spin it, and I can put all of these attachments here in it. So they're all different processes of when I set gems. This is just a stamp, and I line it up with where I want my gem, and I do that, and it just creates a little mark in the surface, so that when I get my drill bit, it has something to catch onto. This is just beeswax, but it lubricates the burrs to make them last longer. Being such a small scale, there's been times when I'll go from having too many orders that I need to hire someone to having absolutely none for a month, and it's very hard to keep that consistency. You know, you're working 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and you're kind of like, I'm not really paying myself for this or factoring that in. And you know, there's times where I think that it would be great to have a job that pays me consistent income every week and I never have to worry about it when I go home. About 1.5 years ago, I'd say I went full-time. So it's been about 3 years, and for the first 1.5 years, I was definitely selling things, but it wasn't enough to sustain me completely, and I wasn't doing it very smartly, taking on things that weren't in my style just because I was excited to have customers, or massively underquoting them and never really accounting for materials or my time or tax. Why I've avoided stores for so long is because they take a massive commission, and being someone who makes everything by hand, and I rent out my own studio and try and source all my pieces that are really ethical, you only get a certain amount of profit from that, and then when you go to a store or somewhere else or a gallery, they take a big percentage of it, so it can be hard to actually break even. Modern world, I sell a lot of it, I think, through Instagram. I guess I have my website, but I usually, like, the statistics and everything is that it's fed through Instagram. By selling it online, it allows me to do a lot more commission-based pieces and small quantities, and it also allows me to be in contact with the customer directly about what they want. I've never had a retail background, so I'm not a seller. Like, I won't overly go, oh my God, that looks amazing, you have to buy it. I try and help customers choose something that I think would be good for their sense of style and realistic for their budget. I find that I just talk to people honestly about what they like. When I tell people about my brand and what my beliefs are, a lot of the time I think that helps me really relate with them and maybe help sell things. But to be honest, I feel as if I don't have an exact method, but I see everything as that I'm always learning and open to, you know, if I do something horribly wrong, I'll never do it again, or if I break something, I'll know not to do that technique next time. Actually, the first piece of jewellery I made was a ring for my dad. He was a steel worker and I used to help him out in his workshop, and it was a very different method, but I kind of knew I wanted to do something along those lines. I found one of his old rings and tried to do it as a surprise and used that to find the size and then made it for him. And it was a signet ring with his little maker's mark on it. And it turned out to be one of my mum's rings and it didn't fit him at all. It was 4 sizes too small. And so anyway, I made him another one to match after that. And those are probably my first rings I made.